Right.
Continue.
So I have a new phone, and it has the Siri AI in it, the Apple's thing that is only available on the 4S because they've locked out of every other iOS 5 thing they've got as a selling incentive.
Yeah, surely.
So people have already said that it has trouble, in particular, understanding Scottish accents.
Yeah, it's a known thing.
Yeah, along with, what was the other one? I'm sure there was another one.
I don't know.
Well, wherever it was. And sometimes it is, I'm quite amazed that it understands, like, the name of the village I live in. It gets that perfect.
Does it?
But, yeah, it does, and it actually pronounces it correctly as well. But other things, it's really stupid. So I've got some examples here of stuff I tried myself, and also some suggestions I got from a website called Shit Siri Says.
Right.
Right. So first of all, I started with just Brain Go Hurty. Didn't phrase it as a question or a sentence. I just wanted to see if it understood the words Brain Go Hurty. It didn't. Some of the things it thought I said was Ringo Part, Pringle Hurty, Green School Hurty, and Rainbow Heritage.
Rainbow Heritage. Welcome to the Rainbow Heritage podcast.
Or the Green School Hurty? What the hell is Hurty? Is that a word? Herrity.
Must be.
I think.
Siri made it a word.
Yeah. So then I tried saying to Siri, this is one I got from the website, talk dirty to me. And it replies, the carpet needs vacuuming. And sometimes if you say the same thing more than once, it'll have alternative answers. So I said it again, and it said, I can't. I'm as clean as the driven snow. And then, this is another one I got from the site.
What's the point?
It's Easter eggs.
But what's the point?
Well, Easter eggs. They don't have a point.
There's absolutely no point to it.
No. It's just silly little...
I'm glad I didn't spend a lot of money buying a smelly Apple phone.
So then I asked, who's on first? And it replied, right, that's the man's name, which I thought was very clever. Because surely you're aware of the very famous skit, Who's On First?
No.
You're not?
No.
Oh. Okay, I'll YouTube it afterwards and show you, because it's a skit everybody needs to see.
Okay. So you've been playing with Siri?
Yes, and I'm not done yet. I'm still playing with him. Yes, that's right, him. It's not a woman, unlike the Australian and American versions. For some reason, the British get a guy. So then I tried asking, where can I hide a body?
Serious questions that need serious answers.
Yeah, ideally with quite a quick answer. So then it replied, what kind of place are you looking for? And then it gives you lists that you can click on that says mines, reservoirs, metal foundries, funeral services, swamps and dumps. Which I thought was very clever.
That's brilliant. But at the same time, a little bit sinister.
Scary. A little bit scary, especially because if you press on the buttons, it does tell you. So, yeah. Then I tried something simple. This is one I tried myself. I just said knock, knock. So it said, knock, knock, who's there? Flick, flick who? Flick, I don't do knock, knock jokes. That was the whole reply.
See,
That's because, I taught it to call me Flick, because you can tell it to call you whatever you want. So if you look at that Shit Siri Says site, quite a lot of them are things people have said that, and they've told Siri to call them bitch. So it's like, what are you talking about, bitch?
So you could get Siri to call you Gay Zombie 88 then?
You could if you wanted to, yeah. Now, I've saved the best for last here. If you say to it, this is one I got from the site, I need to abort my child, it says, sorry, I can't look for restaurants in Canada. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't get it. But apparently also if you say things like, where can I get some drugs, it points you to clinics to get over your addiction. But yeah, I found that one funny. Restaurants in Canada. Aborted baby.
Hello and welcome to the Brain Go Hurty Gaming Podcast. This is episode 25. I'm Flick and I'm joined by Blighty.
No, you're not.
Did I get that wrong?
Yes.
I'm Blighty and I'm joined by Flick and possibly Siri if she is listening in.
No, Apple sue us or kill us.
All right.
I'm not sure which.
So, get ready for another hour of gaming news, nonsense, and whatever other gibberish we decide to rant about.
Yes. Yeah. Probably Mass Effect 3. Give it the last.
I didn't even intend, I hadn't even thought about fucking Mass Effect 3, but you're like a dog with a bone, you just can't let go, can you?
Well, yeah, it was the same with Dark Souls, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, I suppose. We go through these phases.
Apart from this time, more people agree with me. That's the difference here.
Nobody ever agrees with you.
Not usually, no, but on this, most people do agree. But we'll get to that.
Should we start where we normally do with what we've been playing for the last fortnight then, shall we?
Yes. Do you want to go first this time? I can't remember who did last time.
I went first last time.
So you want me to then? Yeah,
sure, why not?
Okay. Well, I've been still playing more Xenoblade Chronicles. Still enjoying it, despite it being on the Wii.
Is the story still continuing to be pretty weird, or...?
Yeah, so the main story is pretty out there, and there's a lot of side quests, though. You don't have to do them, but because of my kind of OCD, I have to. So it's distracting me from the story. Some of them are interesting, like part of it's to rebuild a destroyed settlement, and you have to go find materials to do that, and other than that, there's generic ones. In fact, they don't even bother to name them. It's just generic. It's like fetch quest 1, kill quest 1 for any given zone. Yeah, I think I'm nearly at the head of the dead corpse that all the people are living on.
Right.
Which is where the next big event's going to happen. Although I'm not sure if I did this on purpose or not, but I think I accidentally confirmed a theory I had about the enemies in the game, because I went back to the very first town and I spoke to someone. I won't say what they said, but they mentioned something about their father that confirmed my suspicions about who the enemy are, really.
Right, okay.
So I don't know if I was supposed to do that or not, but it's given away something that hasn't been revealed in the main story yet.
Huh.
So yeah, I'm not sure if that was maybe just they assumed you wouldn't go back that early, but I don't know.
So if you were to try and sort of sell this to somebody that, let's go with somebody, played some of the Final Fantasy games or whatever, is it something that they would probably enjoy playing, or?
Well, it's not really like the Final Fantasy games other than 12. So if you haven't played 12, that wouldn't be a very good comparison. Or right. Crisis Core on the PSP, it was like that. I suppose it controls a bit like Phantasy Star, kind of.
Is it worth buying a Wii for?
No, nothing is worth buying a Wii for. No.
Totally baited you there.
It's worth renting one for, or stealing, abducting from a family member.
We do not condone stealing of Wiis.
No, certainly not.
Or Poos.
I mean, they're not even worth stealing, really. But I'm tempted now that I borrowed one from a family member that maybe I'd want to go and play some other games I was kind of interested in. Like I was kind of interested in Twilight Princess, the Zelda game, like 2 generations ago.
Yeah.
Because it was a slightly more adult one. It wasn't cartoony. It wasn't like kiddie, and you only played as adult Link for a start. So I thought that kind of appealed. But then I'd have to use the remote, and it's like the complaint you had about Kid Icarus, which was it tries to make use of all of the fancy gadgets rather than just making a decent game.
Yeah. So trying to use like a niche, a gimmick, rather than like actually just making a game that just so happens to incorporate all those good things. Yeah.
So if anyone knows that's played it, can you just use the pad for the Wii, or do you have to use the stupid motion controls?
Probably can. You could Google that if you were really interested, but you're not interested.
But I don't have that much interest in anything that I'd actually get off my arse and type something. Oh, wait, you don't need to get off your arse. That implies I use my arse to type.
Sometimes it does seem like that.
Yeah, sometimes it does. So what else have I been playing? I'm trying to think of things that you haven't played. Oh, I've been playing Infinity Blade 2 on my phone.
Oh, yeah.
Used to make use of my Retina screen. I reviewed the first one, and I actually really liked it. It's sword fighting with your finger, which is very good fun. And the second one's very similar. The graphics are even better, and you can dual wield now rather than sword and shield. You can two-hand. And they've expanded the plot a lot more, because the first one they kind of spoke a European type language that almost sounded like English, but it was really just made up, and there wasn't much plot. But in this one, the plot is much more in your face.
So there's definitely like a real sort of story this time around.
Yeah, like when you finish the first one, and since it's a phone game, I don't think there's any harm in talking about the ending of the first one. It hints that there's like a sci-fi twist to the medieval setting it appears to have, but it isn't like Assassin's Creed, where you're playing as someone in the future and reliving the past. It's actually, well, I don't know for sure. This is my theory. It's a world that was very technologically advanced, that then something happened, and this is like the medieval times that have followed on from that.
All right, okay, so like
remnants of technology, but they're back to swords and shields and things like that.
Post-apocalyptic, so on, and
because some of the enemies are robotic, so it kind of confirms that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so you're playing as someone who killed a deathless person and took their sword that can apparently kill other deathless, so he wants to go kill them all to save humanity. And
it sounds a bit mental.
It's very mental, and I'm actually also reading a book that branches the two games, which is quite enjoyable so far. You lost interest, didn't you? And just
yeah, it's
just because you can't have it because it's an iPhone only game, not a Galaxy whatever gibberish thing you've got.
Yes. Galaxy S2 better than you.
No, clearly not. And let's see what else. I think the only other things on my list are things we've both been playing. So do you want me to only cover half of that, or?
Yeah, you start it off, and we can branch into my comments as well.
Right. Okay. So, well, let's get the obvious out of the way first of all, because we did TF2. We've been doing it a lot, but specifically we've done another TF2 night.
We did, and some more people showed up, and some people didn't show up.
The biggest twist of the night was that Noodles didn't turn up. Apparently,
he was so ashamed of it.
He was face down in a ditch, apparently. So
his words, not ours.
Not ours. Not sure what happened.
He didn't specify that he'd been drinking either. So why he was face down in a ditch, anybody's guess.
Yeah. If you have a guess about why Noodles was face down in a ditch, feel free to email in and we'll pass it along. Did you enjoy our second TF2 night?
I did. I think, like, we've been playing TF2 like a lot more sort of recently with a few more people other than just you, me, and CR.
Yes.
And the more people that get in and get on Skype and get talking, and before you know it, you've got like a whole team that's like everybody's on Skype and they're all having a chat and a laugh and stuff, and it makes the game so much more fun. I mean, you can steamroll over just about anybody with a group of people that are playing organized and stuff like that. Mm. And I know that that's not where the fun's supposed to come from, but it saves getting annoyed by shitty teammates and stuff like that. And just in general, some of the conversations, I mean, if you go and have a look at the videos we put up, some of the conversations are fantastic.
Yeah, and we're going to try and capture more, hopefully next time to include in this as well.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Future ones for some videos and stuff to go up maybe. Yeah,
so we're still doing that anyway, and
so we'll announce when the next one is. Probably next weekend or something like that, most likely.
Probably. I mean, we've tried a Thursday and we've tried a Friday, so maybe we should try a Saturday since people tend to go out on a Friday night. Maybe.
Yeah.
I think that might work best. But anyway, so keep an eye on the Steam group, and the announcement will be there when we set up another one. Shall we move on to another game?
Yep.
I whistled a bit there. Did you hear that one?
Yep, I did.
That's a sign of getting old. Because when Scottish people get old, they start whistling more.
You start whistling, like from your various orifices.
Whistling when you speak from your various orifices, yeah.
I've always whistled from one orifice.
Only one?
Not my mouth.
Not your mouth. Okay. That narrows it down. Just leave that lingering there for a few seconds. Let's see, what else have we been playing on Steam? We have been playing Age of Empires Online some more. And you conned your brother into getting it, I believe.
I con no one.
I
subtly suggest that certain games are good, and people just tend to agree with my opinion and just go out and buy these things.
Well, he must be enjoying it as well. Are you still enjoying it?
Yeah,
it?
I am. The thing that the multiplayer element has always been one of the things I've liked about RTS games in particular. I've never really been that big a fan of the campaigns and things like that. The campaign missions, some of them are actually really quite good fun. The co-op element is a must, I think.
I wish more of them were co-op.
Yeah, they should have. I mean, they dropped dropped the ball on that one. They could have really picked up there, but it's not a bad thing. It's nice to see an RTS game coming back after so long and back to its roots.
There is one major complaint I have about it, and I think you'll probably agree once you remember what it is. Do you remember what it is?
No.
The one really annoying thing if it happens while you're playing?
No.
No, seriously.
Oh, you mean if it conks out for whatever reason?
Exactly. Because it's an online-only game, you always have to be online. Even if your internet connection is fine, sometimes it will just randomly drop, and you'll go back to the title screen and you have to sign back in, blah, blah, blah. If that happens during a mission, you lose all progress in that mission. But any consumable items you've used stay used.
Yeah.
So I find it incredibly annoying.
It doesn't happen very often to me, though, so...
It's happened a few times to me now. Hang on, when you were doing that one where you had to build the pyramids or whatever, didn't it happen?
It happened on that one once, yeah.
Yeah, and that takes quite a while to do, that one. So it's one of the follies of always on games.
Well, this is something that we'll probably pick up. We could do this now or later, but about next gen consoles with the whole they're always on for anti-piracy and anti pre-owned games and stuff like that. There's a problem right there that if, say, for whatever reason your internet goes down, your router fails or something, you're stuck with the console that you can't play anything because you're not connected to the internet.
Exactly. Or what if the company goes bust? And then what happens? Like, what if Nintendo brings out an always on? I'm picking Nintendo because I think of the three big names, they are the one most likely to go bankrupt. So let's say they have let's say the Wii U is an always on console, and then Nintendo goes bust because the Wii U is crap.
Yeah.
Everyone who did buy one is then they've got an overpriced brick.
True, but you could apply the same logic to anybody that paid and invested money into an MMO, for example. I mean, this is extreme, but I know of quite a few people that posted on forums and things about getting a gaming rig that would run Final Fantasy 14. Now, it's going to crash into the ground. I mean, it already has crashed, but it's going to slowly burn for the rest of the next year, and then that'll be it. It'll be gone.
Yeah, it's not going to survive.
No, okay, you can say that those PCs people have built, bought, made, whatever, can be used for other things, but the intent behind them was to play that one game.
Bad choice for them then, really.
Sucks to be you.
Yep. Any people who previously played that and have cancelled their account are getting a free week or two actually in May to try and bring them back. So that must mean they've got some big update planned prior to that.
I've said this many times before, but I wanted it to do well because I did really like Final Fantasy XI. I think as an MMO, it hit a lot of points perfectly.
But then they just went, the team that got sacked just went in totally the wrong direction. They thought, we'll make a game that looks pretty, and then just forget about the game.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And this kind of also branches into Diablo 3, which we're probably going to be playing after this because it's an open beta all weekend.
Open beta is supposed to kick off at some point tonight.
Yeah, but specifically, that is another game which always requires an internet connection. It's to cut down on cheaters.
Yeah.
Or so they say, so they claim.
Not to do with data mining or anything.
No, not just to do with anti-piracy or no second hand, because you always need to be on. So presumably it's got an online pass purchase or something similar.
It'll probably have something like that, yeah.
Oh, well, no, it's connected to your Battle.net account, so if you were to sell on your copy, that might not be so good. But yeah, so we're going to be trying that afterwards.
PC games have always had that issue, though. PC gaming is always been more about cracked versions as opposed to pre-owned versions.
Yeah,
there's no market for pre-owned PC games because of the way the anti-piracy has been for them. The set of keys and
piracy is so prevalent in the PC world.
Yeah,
something that's put me off Diablo 3 even before we've played it. It's nothing to do with the game itself. They're wanting £45 for it.
Oof. Is that even digital download? £45.
Digital download and actual copy, £45 standard, no fancy extras at all.
The reason for that is they know people will pay it. It's
exactly
the Modern Warfare argument. They know people were going to pay £50 for it.
I am very against giving into that kind of thing because it encourages it. So if I am going to get it, it might be after launch. I mean, that's assuming we like it. It might turn out that it's rubbish, but I don't think it will, especially considering how often we played Diablo 2.
We did play a lot of it over the LAN, didn't we?
We did, yeah. What was the expansion called for Diablo 2? Lord something or other. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's not you now.
Yes, very much.
So yeah, what got us onto that? Talking. Oh, Age of Empires always being online. Ugh. There's two more things I can think of that we're both playing, so you can cover those.
It was Lord of Destruction, by the way.
Thank you. Was that your co-worker?
Yep, thank you, Google.
Mr. Mick Google. Don't get into a cab with him at night.
He'll take you down a dark alley.
Yeah. Or he'll take you in it. Never mind. Never mind.
Moving swiftly on.
Yes, go on quick. You.
Me.
Two more games to cover that we're both playing. Go.
We've done a little bit more Resident Evil with the DLC that was out.
Yes, we have. Well, Operation Raccoon City specifically, yeah.
Right, fine. Resident Evil, Operation Raccoon City, zombies, brains.
Spec Ops DLC, which we already did the first free mission of.
We did, yeah.
Thoughts on it?
The overall so far?
Yeah.
I think it's better than the actual, out of the box campaign.
I agree. It's more varied, which is kind of the point, I guess.
It annoys me because I like playing the bad guy. I like being the bastard. I like doing the bad things. I mean, we've gone over this with Skyrim and everything before. I like being a git when it comes to playing, in particular role-playing games.
Yeah, when we did that alignment test ages ago, it came out saying you were Satan.
Yeah, more or less. But I don't know how that's the case, but. The DLC does feel to be a little bit better, which is annoying because it as we've gone over before, it feels like it just should have been on the disc.
Well, yeah, we joked about in previous podcasts and in the videos we're doing of it that it was already on the disc. I don't think it's technically on the disc, but it was prior to release, and then Capcom just yanked it out with their giant bear paws, stuffed it under their arm, ran into the woods, and then a couple of weeks later came back and said charge people $7.99 for 3 missions. And it is $7.99 for missions 2, 3, and 4, plus 2 multiplayer maps.
Which took us all of about a couple of hours to do, maybe?
Yeah, and presumably 5, 6, and 7, plus any number of multiplayer maps when they're released next week, I'm guessing, or maybe 2 weeks, will be $7.99 as well. So you're charging half the total price of the game.
Again,
almost,
yeah.
To get something that was clearly in it at some point in development, because you can tell by the way the tutorials play, by the splash image when you're picking which campaign to play that's now in it,
and the proximity as well from it being released.
Yeah, it clearly hasn't been getting made for a while, and the fact that it uses areas from multiplayer maps that were
places that you're familiar with already from playing the multiplayer. It
makes me wonder if people were assuming this because it was a Capcom game and that's why they marked it down. Which I don't think is fair, because you should mark on what's in there even if you know they're going to be bastards about it. And I did mention in my review that it felt like there was things missing.
Yeah.
On purpose.
Well, now we know.
Yeah. But, well, you see, in comparison now that I've played the better campaign, I probably would mark down the Umbrella campaign if it was rather than the other way around. It's interesting that they included the bad guy campaign rather than the good guy campaign. So maybe it's because they assumed that people like you would like it, that you want to be playing as the baddies killing girls.
Maybe it makes a change, from the usual.
And it's not like it's canon. It's torturing the story and twisting it a bit, so it's not counting in the grand scheme.
Yeah, true.
So are you going to buy the other set of missions? Because I didn't buy this one because it's overpriced, which it is.
I'm not sure. I mean, another $7.99 is quite hard to swallow.
Yeah. Bears,
Yeah, dirty bastard bears.
So what's the last thing on the list?
The last thing that we've been playing is Saints Row 3.
Yes, because you dragged me onto it.
It's been fun. I've got some footage that needs to go up at some point.
I do like playing a co-op. I do like it. I didn't really enjoy playing it alone.
That's the thing. See, when I roped you back into playing with me, you kind of you start having more fun with it because it's co-op, and you're seeing somebody else's reaction to things for the first time. Adds a little bit of fun value to it too.
Yeah, it works better as a co-op game. Yes, I would agree. And yeah, you've got videos of it going up of us pissing around in general. The ones that you remember to actually press record on, or remember to record the Skype conversation on. It's baby steps as far as video making goes for you.
I got so used to just like hitting one button to record PC footage, and it did everything. And now I've got to press two buttons, and it's like, whoa, slow down.
Whoa, 2 buttons.
Yeah, 2 whole buttons. I know.
Jeez.
It's a hard life.
So we'll be doing that whenever we have the chance. We'll be doing more of that. Oh, I've been doing Kid Icarus when I can as well, although
you've not like developed like some sort of weird claw hand from playing it Strange Way yet, no?
No, I play it in small bursts. The claw. I'm supposed to be reviewing it, but unfortunately I don't get through 3DS games very fast because I play it in bits to avoid eye cancer.
What you're saying is you play it when you're on the toilet.
No, I had to think there just to make absolutely sure that wouldn't be a lie, but no, I've not played my 3DS.
Make sure.
Yeah. Is there any other games that you've been playing without me that I don't know of?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I had been tempted to, pick up more like Skyrim, for example, or Dungeons of Dreadmore, but there's just been far too many other things. And in the background, I've got my secret project as well that I'm working on. So
I was curious if you were going to mention your secret project. I take it that you're only going to mention it as that.
Yeah, it is just codename. The codename is Secret Project.
Yeah, since prostitution is illegal in most countries.
I mean, it might not, surface depending on how things go, but it might. So we shall see.
Yeah, leave that cliffhanger dangling there with
dun.
I think that's covered that, hasn't it? No more what we're playing, and people know what we're about to play after this, probably.
Well, but after this, I suppose it's probably just going to be, more of the same with Diablo thrown in.
As far as the overpriced Diablo thing goes, I was recently helping clean out the family house's attic, and I found a load of stuff from the early 90s. And it included some old Nintendo magazines, which is weird because I never had an N64, and yet they're N64 magazines. So I'm not entirely sure they're mine.
We spent enough time at one of our friends who had an N64 that didn't matter.
Maybe. I suspect I got it because of like Pokemon stuff included in it, free cards and whatever.
Quite possibly.
But the point I'm making is, how it always has advertisements for buying games in the middle of it and at the back. They were charging £45 for N64 games in 1991.
Yeah. No, not 91.
Yes, 91. That's the year this magazine came out.
N64 wasn't out in 91.
No. N6, 93, I think.
You're crazy, Marge. Get off the road.
Whatever
94, I think the N64 was released.
Oh, bastard, you're right. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
The point I'm making is the price of gaming was really high, especially when you consider inflation now compared to then. So gaming prices have fallen, and now they're just going back up to where they were over, well, not quite 20 years ago. And I just found it ridiculous. I found a bunch of old sticker albums as well. I told you I used to stick any doubles I had on the inside of my closet.
Yes, where you keep the small child.
No. So I found a Mortal Kombat 2 one, which has appallingly bad art in it. A Street Fighter 2 one, which has even worse art in it. I mean, no one looks like... It's like an American person has tried to emulate the art style of the Japanese creators, and it's awful. It's scary, actually. I'm trying to find...
That bad?
In particular, there's see if I can find it. There's an official Nintendo one, which I think... Because I filled in the back of one of them, you see, and I was horrified. It's one of those things where you subscribe for more sticker albums.
Right.
And I was appalled at my childhood answers to one of the questions. And this is what was getting me confused because it's a sticker album from 1991. So I wouldn't even be a teenager yet.
Yeah.
And the questions are like, who's your favourite characters for the thing it is? But the question that annoyed me the most was, what are your 3 favourite TV shows right now?
Oh, God.
Yeah, so my first one was Power Rangers, which I think everybody like who was a kid at that age was into Power Rangers. Well, if they were boys.
I
So,
wasn't, but okay, anyway.
well, you're a girl.
Oh, right, okay.
You were into ponies, which is the end thing now, apparently.
I still don't understand that.
I don't understand it either. But the second one was Reboot. Did you watch Reboot?
I saw a couple of episodes. It used to be on ITV, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a totally CG thing set inside a computer.
Yeah.
And had the people in it battled people playing games. And if they didn't win, they died, kind of.
So it's implying that, like, those poor bastards that I'm killing in all the games I'm playing are actually dying within the computer.
Exactly, yeah. In fact, they had a really bleak ending because the main character got thrown into cyberspace, and then the little boy character and his girlfriend died because they lost the game against the user. But then they did a follow-up season where he doesn't really die. He gets lost and he's an adult and blah, blah, blah. That was terrible, that one. Now, here's the thing. My third most watched favourite TV program I put in was Baywatch.
What?
I don't know. I don't remember ever watching it. I don't understand why I liked it.
It's such a weird combination of
exactly
shows.
Power Rangers Reboot and Baywatch. I'm disgusted at my childhood self. And then I listed my 3 favourite gaming magazines, and I don't know 2 of them. Total, Match, and NMS. I assume NMS is Nintendo magazine. But I don't
Match was a football one, I'm sure it was.
Can't be. I was never into football.
Pretty certain.
I'm beginning to think this wasn't my sticker album and I stole it from someone.
That might make a lot more sense.
Because there isn't a bit where I've written my name, so...
Yeah, Match magazine is... it's a football one.
Well, okay, that's clearly not mine then. Whoops.
So you stole it from some poor kid.
Quickly moving on, what would you like to talk about? Sticker theft.
Sticker theft. You see how you were talking about Siri earlier on?
Mm-hmm.
I was watching this video. I don't know if you've seen this thing. I think it was Honda that made it. This Asimo robot thing that can walk and do all these weird bits and pieces.
I think I have, yeah.
I mean, if you haven't, or if anybody out there hasn't, go Google Asimo, and you'll come up with Asimo robot or whatever, and you'll see it. It's quite.
I know what I'm confusing it with now because South Park parodied it with a robot called Osimo.
Anyway,
yeah,
I watched a video that was uploaded recently of something a little bit more impressive in terms of like Asimo can climb stairs and it can run, but it's not very sort of sleek at it. It's not very fast, right? This thing was running like T2 and climbing stairs and all sorts of shit. And I looked at this thing and I started thinking, like, we're getting quite close to the whole HAL thing, and that's where we're going back to Siri. And you're just thinking, well, it's moving like a person, and all they need to do is to start firing, put a couple of weapons on that, connect sensor on there for it to be able to, identify various bits and pieces, and you're away, fire it into the battlefield, hunting people down. And
so you're saying Hideo Kojima was predicting the future?
It just it feels a lot more real than like science fiction. Do you know what I mean? It feels a lot more sciencey.
It's dangerous, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's. I don't know. I was going to talk about Mass Effect 3 spoilers there. Nope, can't do that. I think it's still too early, and plus you might play it.
Yeah, exactly. You shouldn't be spoiling anyway for the people that might be wanting to play.
Yeah, okay. All 5 of those guys. On the subject of Mass Effect 3, how many podcasts have I started a section with that since?
I've lost count.
I've only got one little thing, so it's going to be really quick. It's just that when people were, getting really annoyed about the ending, they complained to the Better Business Bureau of America that it was false advertising, that they pitched the game that your decisions mattered in the end, and as we've about at length, they don't. They have no influence on what ending you get at all. So this Better Business Bureau of America has an official blog, and they agree with the people who complained. And I've got the quote they have here, or a quote from the post about Mass Effect 3. BioWare's marketing campaign for Mass Effect 3 does contain false advertising. It's a problem of absolutes, something that should be avoided at all costs in advertising circles. In other words, you shouldn't state specifically that it will. You should just apply or word it more cleverly than they were able to. Unfortunately, even though they agree with people that complain that it's false advertising, nothing's going to happen about it.
Exactly. It's not like they're going to demand that that they refund money back to people.
They have no legal standing or authority. They're just agreeing with people who complain to them, which kind of gives you the impression of what was the point of that?
Yeah. It's not going to achieve anything other than getting something off your chest, I suppose.
Maybe it's a little bit of negative publicity. Maybe.
I think they got enough of that as it was anyway.
I know people always say that any publicity is good publicity, but I personally don't believe that.
But look at it in this way, right? If you're sitting there saying, the ending's pish and poo, and somebody's thinking, well, why is that the case? Maybe I'll go and play it and see what everybody's talking about.
In days gone by, maybe. Nowadays, Google.
Yeah, YouTube. Yeah. YouTube's.
So that's a good thing about YouTube. It stopped people doing that. It's like if I hear a movie is really bad, I might be curious why, and I'll try and YouTube the scene.
I suppose, like you can use YouTube to watch like entire gameplay walkthroughs and stuff. As
exactly,
we've covered like plenty ourselves. Mm-hmm. So if you were maybe interested in getting it and you thought, actually, I don't really quite like the look of that, or maybe just enough to watch like how the story unfolds.
Well, that's what CR said about the Operation Raccoon City DLC. He won't bother buying it because he can just watch us play it. But he's Irish and cheap.
Oh, I hate him. I don't really hate you, CR. Not yet.
Sad face. Sad, angry, potato-stained face. What got us insulting CR there? What are we talking about? Mass Effect 3. But that's I've got it off my chest. I promise I'll really try not to have anything about Mass Effect 3 next time. Please don't stop listening just because I keep bitching about that crappy game. Yeah,
So you know how we were playing Star Wars: The Old Republic for a while, and we were sort of quite enjoying it, but then it just sort of slowly burnt out, and we were just not having so much fun, and we didn't even hit level cap, if I remember rightly.
No, I didn't bother because we ran out of stuff to do, really, and other stuff came along.
Yeah, and it wasn't like it didn't quite have that hook that was needed. But since leaving, like it seems like they are the most persistent. To try to encourage you to, like, when you're wanting to leave, it's like, oh, why is it you're leaving? Tell us why. And you go, well, all right, all my mates and the people I play with have stopped playing. Oh, that's fine. You can talk to other people and make groups with other people. Are you sure you still want to cancel your subscription? Yeah, actually I do. And then a couple of weeks later, it's like, here, because you were one of the founding members and stuff, if you come back now, you'll get a free Tauntaun pet that can run around.
Yeah, and you can try the update for free. That's the newest one. Did they really send you one saying, don't worry, you can play with other people, or was that an exaggeration?
No, that's what I got when I tried to cancel my subscription, because the excuse that I used was genuine. I said that the people that I was playing with would stop playing. And
I don't believe that. Bloody hell.
And instead of like it just going, fine, that's it, submitted, cancelled, another message box came up to tell me that you can play with other people, you can message other people and join other groups, and it's not just your friends that were playing.
That is shameless. That is that's dropping your pants when the punter isn't interested.
Now, Warcraft did have something not quite as extreme as that. I remember it's got that. Do you remember like old PC games where it was like, do you wish to quit? Yes. Really? Yes.
Yeah.
That sort of scenario. Yeah. It had one sort of kind of like that. Do you really want to cancel your account? Really? But not quite as extreme as like giving you alternative options to try to beg you to stay back.
I would just use the word extreme. I would use the word desperate.
Yeah,
and they are desperate because EA wasted so much money in advertising, which is one of their sticking points. Like, they've made 14 million on it so far, but production costs coupled with massive advertising campaigns mean they're not making enough money on it yet.
It costs a lot of money to maintain an MMO.
It does, but I don't really understand why they're constantly trying to hoor it with advertising campaigns when, gaming updates and whatnot, they tend to create free advertising because various MMO websites report on each update that one gets.
It's another one of these things where it seems like gaming developers and publishers are becoming increasingly alienated with the people that are actually buying and playing the games.
Yes.
Spiraling costs, ridiculous DLC, all this talk about the online passes and stuff. And then couple that with, this whole Kickstarter thing where people are getting more and more involved in, actually, do you know what? I'll just throw a little bit of money at this guy and get a free game come out of it. And then I'll just steal one of your podcast note topics right out of your computer.
I'm getting very angry now that you've only just mentioned Kickstarters and I'm already pissed.
I mean, we've said before about Kickstarters that it's a case of when the first one actually comes out, we'll see, the proof is in the pudding. You'll see, what the end result is going to be. But
yeah,
as it stands, it's promising. It's promising. You could get something nice out of it. You could get a game at half or a quarter of the price that you would normally pay. Sure, you're paying up front, but...
Yeah, and, if it's someone with a pedigree behind them, like Schaefer, who's the first one to do it, then that gives him a level of credibility that 99% of the other Kickstarters don't. And the thing that really got me annoyed was the figure that just in last month alone, idiots donated a total of $9 million to various Kickstarters.
Yeah.
Like, aren't we in the middle of a recession? Don't people not have money right now?
Clearly that's not the case. I mean, I don't know if we've ever mentioned this before, but we've been in a recession since the podcast started. I mean, for years beforehand. But it's never really hit me at all. The only thing that actually ever impacted on me that I noticeably really noticed was that the interest rate on my credit card went down. So I was actually benefiting from the fact that we were in a recession.
Hooray! The rich get richer. Is that what you're saying? You're going to piss off the proletariat.
Bring me my monocle. I want to look
rich.
Now, towards the end of this year, when I go to buy a house, things might become a little bit more problematic because of this. But,
Good.
It's bad. Good. I want to have my gaming cave.
Your gaming cave of +1.
Yeah. You'll have to come and see it when it's done.
I will do. We'll set it up. We'll make it the Brain Go Hurty HQ.
Cool.
Going back to Kickstarter.
Get the logo, painted on the wall.
One interesting thing about Kickstarters I noticed was someone who wanted 25 grand to make I think it's an iPhone game, but I'm not 100% sure on that. After his Kickstarter closed and he hit his target, he decided to show people where the money went because he realized that he should have made it more. And the reason for that is tax, paperwork, as far as legal paperwork.
That pay for people to set up the company and stuff.
Yeah. That eats up a lot of funding. And also the Kickstarter site itself takes a proportion.
I remember actually looking at this breakdown because I know what you're talking about, like the exact, I
can't remember what their portion they took was, but I think it was about 12% or something like that.
It wasn't a big portion, but the big thing that I noticed from that was the way that a lot of the way that Kickstarters really work is that people are going to get something out of it. It's not a case of you just get the finished product because a lot of people are going to get that, which that's not going to be a cost to them because. It's already been encompassed in the money that's been provided for the Kickstarter.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they do posters and limited editions and T-shirts and all these things, which they then have to make sure that they can actually give to people because they've paid for them. Mm-hmm. They have to make sure that they've already got those before the game's even released. So they have to deduct that from the amount of money they've taken for the Kickstarter, and that's a big portion right there.
And this is another danger. People who don't know enough about what they're doing, starting Kickstarters, and then realizing as they go along that they've made a mistake. That is another big danger.
See, the one thing that I've not looked an awful lot into these things because, to be honest, in any case, I'll just wait until the game's out.
Yeah, and then you can maybe try a demo.
It could be a franchise that we really like, or something that they're saying we needed the Kickstarter to revitalize this franchise or bring a new one out or whatever. I'll still just go. Do you know what? I'll wait until the full product's actually released before I give you any money because I've spent too long in Scotland, I guess.
Yeah, we have that effect on people. That's why we don't feel the recession much either. It's just like a normal day for us, saving our money and not spending it. Are we going to talk about that Kickstarter in particular? The one that will maybe get children on the internet angry at us?
Do you know what? Let's fucking do it. I don't care. Okay. Bring on the flames.
So which one are we talking about?
The Yogscast one. Was it called Yogadventures?
Yogadventures, which isn't an egotistical name at all.
So, from what I gather, I haven't done like tons of research because I refuse to.
Well, I have to make sure my argument is solid. But
my understanding is that like they're not actually having any input into it in terms of creating it or advertising or anything like that, other than maybe making a video to advertise.
They are advertising it, yeah.
Yeah, but any of the creative elements aren't really coming from them. Somebody else is basically making a game based on Minecraft, which is the game that made them.
They're making Minecraft. They're making Minecraft.
So they're making Minecraft again, which is the game that made the Yogs people popular. And then
not the way around.
Basically selling that, getting money to make it, and then obviously when it's made, they'll continue.
They started a Kickstarter for $250,000, not pounds, and I think it's still ongoing at the minute, but they're nearing $500,000. Yeah, and they had different levels of donators, and they had 5 spots for anyone who wanted to donate 10 grand or more, which did happen. 5 people were that stupid.
5 people donated 10 grand.
Yes, and their extra bonus, other than some miscellaneous shit, was lunch with them. Now, if you're a big fan, I suppose it's like, I don't know, pick a celebrity. If you wanted to have lunch with a famous celebrity, that might have a value to you. But 10 grand, really? And
I have a proposal. Right? We start a Kickstarter, right?
Uh-huh.
It's going to be called Blighty Swings a Cat Around a Room, right? And all you do is it's just got 2 buttons. One is to swing the cat faster, the other one swings the cat slower, right? This is the premise of the game. It's going to be cool. It's going to be done in like cel-shaded and stuff. It's going to be brilliant, right? We're going to need, I don't know, how much do you reckon? 250 grand, right? If you donate $1 grand or more, you can come and have dinner with us. I'll make you sausage and chips. How does that sound?
Is that like your best meal?
Top that, Yogscast.
That's still better than anything I could cook. That's for damn sure. I make a mean porridge.
You can have porridge for a starter. Sausage and chips for the main course, then porridge for pudding afterwards.
And you won't really want a dessert because you'll be in the toilet throwing up. Now, the one last thing I want to moan about, other than the audacity of leeching more money from their fans when they must be making more than enough to fund it themselves, because if people are stupid enough to donate money, might as well take the money from the stupid. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm rolling my eye.
Not that you're ever involved in anything like that.
Shut up. So they're making Minecraft. They're ripping it off, and the thing that they're doing that's different is it's fully 3D, which is overly ambitious for what is classed as an indie game, but also fundamentally flawed. And do you know why? Because it's a reason why Minecraft works the way it is, rather than if it was fully 3D controlled.
Are you putting this on the principle? I'm gonna let's bring Tomb Raider into this, right?
Hmm?
Tomb Raider worked as a game, as a franchise across the board because you knew exactly how far Lara Croft was going to jump, right?
Yeah.
Or grab, or climb or hang or whatever, and because everything was in those specific sort of portion sizes that you could see, you could identify in the map. Minecraft works because everything falls into that certain sort of cube space.
That is exactly right. Yeah.
Everything is built on that, or of portions of that you can easily identify and work with.
It doesn't just apply to games. It's why Lego the way it is.
Exactly. Yeah. Because Lego works because it's got that base unit that you can multiply and use to create things that you can understand it. Whereas if it was completely like you didn't see the building blocks behind it all, where you didn't see the science behind the magic.
Yeah, and when you open that up to fully 3D, you actually limit yourself creativity-wise. Yeah, you could, like they showed that you could kind of throw, grenades, I guess. They're kind of, but keeping in mind it's pre-alpha, that's not necessarily what will be in the full thing, and it blew away portions of rock, and it showed that you would put bridges in that you could change the length of. What if you wanted to recreate Rapture in Yogadventures? That's apparently going to be excellent for making adventure maps. What if I wanted to recreate, I don't know,
Midgar.
Italy, Midgar. Or Midgar's in Italy. There's this huge fuck-off gun. It's why the Persians are scared of them. Never mind.
Over there.
So if you wanted to do that, you're not going to be able to do that in a fully 3D game. It's part of the reason why Minecraft is the way it is.
It tells you that, like, at its base level, at its DNA, there's this one cube, and you can do so much with that one cube that that's why it works. And if you don't have that one cube, Minecraft wouldn't work.
It would be nice if you could smooth out the blocks and create like really photorealistic things, but then you're going in beyond indie game territory. You're going into full proper release. It takes teams of people to do. It takes them months to make a single room, that kind of stuff, and you can't do that in 3D. Like, what if you wanted to just build a simple house? They'll have to do it that you'll have a house item and you'll plop them down. It's like there was a game on the PS2 that I quite liked called Dark Cloud, I think, where you went dungeon exploring for things to make a town, and it was fully 3D, but you could kind of only just place buildings and basic things like that. It'll be like that.
So it takes the creativity away from it.
Not all of it, but the thing that makes Minecraft so innovative will be gone. And the fact that they're essentially trying to rip it off is disgusting. And the fact in their reveal video that they were doing it, they mocked Notch in it. So I sort of like blatantly saying to him, hey, look, we're going to steal your game.
No.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we should probably move on from...
Yeah, I'm too angry. Too angry to be cognitive. What would you like to move on to, or will I pick something?
Recently, I'm not sure how, but over the course of about 2 or 3 conversations with people, we've been talking a lot about like GoldenEye, and I think part of it started off because of an article that I'd been reading about like why GoldenEye is such a bad game, and I'm thinking you can't go back and review with hindsight. You can't go back and review an old game; it doesn't work. It has to be done in the here and now. Technology and experience and all these sort of things come in, and you just can't.
Unless you try and treat it like you take into consideration, you're not comparing it to stuff that's out now.
You can't do that. You can't. Oh. You can't take it out of. You can't take that out of the equation. You can't say. Oh. You can't like delete those memories from your brain that you've played all these brilliant shooters and stuff.
But to use a specific example, like a few years ago, I did a retro review of the first Deus Ex game. And I think I could do that because I had played it back when it first came out. So I was reviewing it like I thought of it then. You
were reviewing your memories of it as opposed to playing it now.
Yeah,
basically.
Because if I did play it now, I would have lots of problems with it looking like horrible and stuff like that. So yeah, I understand that article on Kotaku, like most of the things on there, it was stupid. It was flame bait, is what it was.
Anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about.
Oh, is it not?
No, huh. It's just that it's weird that these things all sort of suddenly happened all at once, and then they're talking about making a new 007 game, 007 Legends, right?
Oh, so I haven't heard about this.
GoldenEye was good. It was great. You can't deny it. Anybody wants to deny it, email me and we'll have a discussion. You'll lose. But you can send an email anyway.
Is the discussion in the form of a bat?
Yeah. I'll just flame the shit out of you. So anyway, so GoldenEye was a good game. And then they tried making some more after that and didn't necessarily work. And then they tried to like reload it for the Wii.
Yeah, I remember that. I never played it, but no.
And it didn't work because the magic wasn't there.
Yeah.
I guess a lot of the magic probably came from playing with people around you at the time, and just I think it was that here and now sort of thing. You know, if someone did it again, like they tried to.
Oh yeah, Rare tried over and over to recreate GoldenEye, and they couldn't manage it.
They just couldn't do it.
No.
So it'd be interesting to see whether or not somebody finally manages to pull the trigger and get it right. The nearest that I've come to it is actually the GoldenEye mod that was out for Half-Life 2. And it was essentially played exactly the same as GoldenEye did on the N64, including like limiting you from being aim properly while running and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But with updated graphics. All the maps, everything was exactly the same, even done, with the same sort of textures, just revamped and stuff. It was good.
Are there any more details about this Legends one? Like specifics?
I've heard nothing other than that there is rumoured that you'll be playing across various bonds and
All right, good.
So on,
I
apparently.
didn't like that in the remake they got rid of Pierce Brosnan just for the sake of it. Just no particular reason other than what's his name, James Craig,
Craig.
Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig happened to be the the new one.
No, I actually had a lengthy discussion about 007 and the Bond franchise with Noodles last night.
All right.
After you went away.
Oh, I see. You had a little private conversation, did you?
Yeah, we did. We had a little secret conversation.
Tell me, who's his favorite Bond?
Oh, he did say. I think he said that he liked. I think it was Timothy Dalton. He said was his favorite. I can't remember.
Timothy Dalton. He was.
Noodles, I can't remember what you said.
We'll add him at the end of the podcast and ask.
Yeah.
Why not? So
we could just do it now, technically, because he's on screen. Let's just.
Hello?
Who's your favourite Bond?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I'm looking for an answer.
I can't remember what you said last night.
Possibly Brosnan, but I have to say I did like Connery, only because he's like the original one. And then Lazenby was pretty good as well.
I disagree with the Lazenby thing, totally.
You can't have three favourites.
He can favourite all of them.
Okay, well, we just wanted the answer to that, so we can go now.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
You're live on Channel 5. Don't say fuck or bugger.
Yeah.
Fucking bugger. Right, I'm out. I'm out of this dead...
You've got about 10 minutes to send an email in before the end of the podcast as well.
Oh, shit. I was actually... Oh, God. So I suppose you've already discussed Yogadventures, right?
Yes.
Just finished.
You don't need to email it. You can just tell us right now, and I'll just edit it incorrectly.
Right.
One edit. He'll leave this all in.
No, I will. I'll edit. I'll make it. I'll do you proud.
Oh, thanks.
You're putting him on the spot.
I know we are. Well, while he's on the spot, CR sent me a picture of something.
Oh dear.
It's a link, but what is it? It's of what the fuck? What the hell? Oh, you need to see this.
Well, if I'm going to laugh, you better keep it in. Come on, show me.
Ryan, let's have a look at this.
Oh,
God, that poor bear.
It's like old school Incredible Hulk throwing a man in a bear suit.
yeah, it's Lou Ferrigno. Lou Ferrigno, who was on this season of American Apprentice.
That's what would happen if either one of you had a load of steroids and then found Capcom spies.
So that's what would happen if you gave me a beer while I was talking about Yogadventures a little while ago. That's why I would do that.
Oh god, that's brilliant.
Oh god, I just love.
I'm keeping that.
I just sent him a message back saying I love you.
Oh dear. For the record, Lou Ferrigno is an asshole, but as an Incredible Hulk, he was fine.
He responded back, "No homo."
No homo. No homo indeedy.
So if we can, if you don't have anything on the top of your head, we can just sit here and wait for a little bit because I can do some magic editing.
I've still got topics to cover, so you can just send us an email.
Don't feel forced into anything.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I can come up with something. Don't worry. I always do. Every 2 weeks.
You haven't let us down yet.
No.
You did last time.
Ooh.
But that's because we did it early. That was our fault.
How dare you? All of the points that I made were in there at some point or another.
So technically, he psychically managed to get the questions in anyway because we answered them all anyway. He's in your head, axing your mans.
Or am I in his?
No,
what?
wait. My head hurts.
Yeah. And with that conundrum, I shall leave you two.
Okay. See you later.
Right. Fine.
Bye.
I'm making sure he's really gone. And we're back after that exciting conversation with Noodles.
Yeah, we are. We're back.
We took a potty break.
We did. We took a little break. It's the first time we've ever really taken a break mid podcast.
Well, that's because Noodles wouldn't leave. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be mean. I can't help it. It's natural.
It's just part of your DNA.
Yeah, speaking
It's
of being
true.
naturally...
You've always been like that. You've always been like really. I'm not going to say you've always been difficult, right? But you're a very, very stubborn person.
Yes.
And I know that you know that.
Yes.
And I know that you know that I know that. But
Yeah.
I'm just making sure that everybody's aware that like I know you're stubborn, and you know that I know you're stubborn.
And that it's not an act, since I have always been like that.
He is genuinely like this, I'm afraid.
I think, yeah, like most people pretend to have Asperger's, I think I probably actually have it. But anyway, speaking of, I can't remember what I was going to segue with now, but I'm just going to have to jump straight in because you interrupted. I wanted to talk about that TF2 video, the Dictator one.
All right, yes, I like that.
Now getting popular. For those who don't know, it's a TF2 video done to a famous speech Charlie Chaplin made in one of his movies from the 1940s. It's regarded as one of the best speeches ever made, be it a fictional one or not, because even though it was done in a movie, people basically assumed he was saying it like he was directly facing Hitler.
Yeah.
He was Jewish and whatnot. The reason I bring it up is because I'm very glad that someone did it using TF2, because that means a whole new generation of people who won't have heard it will hear it. And I think it's a very important thing to hear.
I think that can be said for a lot of things, that somebody goes along and decides somebody else might want to like hear about some of this, and like a case in point, like the Who got like a nice bump in sales when CSI came out because of their songs being used in the title music and stuff for it.
Oh, right.
A new generation of people that would never have listened to any of their stuff, that suddenly got involved because of CSI.
Yeah, I get your point, but I was kind of trying to be more poignant about democracy and dictators rather than the Who becoming more popular.
These are things that I care about.
Okay. But the point I was just making is I'm glad that games that give you that kind of ability can do that. I think it's nice, because people today won't have even known it. I only know about it because I saw a 100 greatest moments in movies thing years ago.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I know about it. So,
I mean, it's the next step for it being the most popular medium out there, the entertainment medium. I mean, it's overtaken music and film. We know that. That's been the last couple of years it's overtaken. And this is just obviously the next step, where people are turning it back into another medium form. They're going back into the film medium through the game medium. And music as well.
In a skewed kind of way, it does kind of fit the TF2 situation, I suppose.
I think that's intentional. I think.
Like the evil dictator watching two just random armies having constant, never-ending war.
Yep.
And so it's a good. So we should link it on the blog anyway to make sure. Well,
yeah, I fully endorse it.
Yes, it's well worth listening to. It's not just a rousing speech about democracy against dictators. It's also quite a sad observation about the problems of humanity. Because it's true what they say. Like people like Charlie Chaplin, the funny people are always.
It's the Piero the Clown syndrome.
In fact, wasn't it Chaplin who said, I might be paraphrasing slightly, that when you realise how bleak existence is, all you can do is laugh?
Something along those lines.
Yeah, I'm paraphrasing slightly, but he definitely said something like that, because I remember reading it. So, that was slightly depressing, but in a nice way, not like,
On a completely unrelated subject, somebody is making a Skyrim mod for tower defense.
I remember you briefly mentioning this, but then CR said something like it's not really tower defense. So
well, it's extremely sort of early days for it and stuff, but it's one of those things that it's just so weird where somebody takes one game and totally skews it into another genre entirely. I'm not entirely sure how specifically it's going to work. It looks like, from what I've seen, that like you place down like guards and things like that, and you get attacked by joggers and things like. And so.
Oh right, you place NPCs. I thought it was like towers and.
No. But maybe you do get to do that. Maybe if it takes off, who knows? But it's weird, like the amount of like creative control that people have with the tools and stuff for games these days. That if you went back as far as, I go back to the 90s and stuff when we were playing Mario and Sonic and things. Imagine if you had the creative tools back then to create new maps for those games and upload them for other people to download and play. Can you imagine how mental things would have been with people. I mean, it's like, Little Big Planet, people are doing that.
Yeah.
But imagine back then when there wasn't that many games coming out and that much. It would just be crazy. It was just.
Well, it's how far technology's come in such a long way. Like, I was pulling out decade-old PCs and monitors from the attic when I was cleaning it as well, and they were like the size of me. And yet so weak in comparison to the tiny box I have at my feet right now.
Exactly. I mean, my phone is more powerful than.
It's staggering how fast technology moves.
My brother actually meant to return like a rucksack that he borrowed from me a couple of years back, right? I know this is weird, but I'll get to it. He was clearing out his cupboards and stuff as well. So he must be maybe you're all spring cleaning. I don't know. I don't have cupboards to clear out. I live in a box.
Yeah.
When I was round there the last time, I meant to lift this, and he'd basically packed in all these things that he'd stolen from me over the course of the years. It was like perfectly intact PS1.
Wow.
Ancient games like Cool Borders 2 and things like that. There was such nostalgia in there. My old Mega Drive, he had that. The Game Gear.
eBay that shit. eBay it.
Too much effort involved in that.
Oh.
The Game Gear and things like that. And it got me sort of thinking about, the value of some of these things, as you're saying with eBay. And Vicky had actually been looking at something just the other day, which was like the value of really old technology.
All right.
Things like the one that I noticed and the one that annoys me the most, right? I mean, there's all these things like, like the first Apple Macs and all that sort of stuff. And these things are understandable to a certain extent. But one of the ones that was worth, you were talking like thousands and thousands of dollars was the old Game & Watch things. The Nintendo Game & Watch things.
Oh, yeah, I know those are really sought after, yeah.
Now, we had loads of them. When I was younger, we had loads of them. And batches of these things sell for a ridiculous amount of money. And we had tons of these things.
And where are they now?
Probably in a skip somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's just that, obviously you don't think at the time that'll be worth money in the future.
Quick moral dilemma to you. Say you worked at a tip and someone was throwing out their old attic's worth of stuff and you happened to observe something that you knew you could get a lot of money for on eBay. Would you tell the person or would you wait until in fact, I'm not even going to, I know you wouldn't. You wouldn't tell them, would you? You'd wait until they've gone and take it.
As soon as they've put it in the bin, it's mine. That's the way it works. That's perfectly legal in this country. You put something in the trash, then that's it. I mean, obviously in your own bin in your house.
So if there's like a 12-year-old listening who's got an 8-year-old sister that they really hate, they should put it in the bin.
Put your sister in the bin, and that's it. Anybody can.
Anyone can have it.
Let's move on from this very quickly. Very quickly.
Waiting to happen. Halo 4 is coming out in November.
Oh God! I was sitting there hoping you weren't going to bring that up.
Then let's just move on,
because I know that you've had a love-hate relationship with the Halo franchise over.
Yeah, I love half of it.
So, you like the first one.
First one in Reach, I like. 3 was meh. 2 and ODST, blah blah blah. That one was pish.
So, what exactly are they doing with 4? I've decided to just completely ignore it.
Making money. That's Microsoft, so that's their thing.
I'm sure what'll end up happening is that I'll end up just going out and buying it and forcing you to buy it anyway.
Well, just for the co-op campaign and or maybe multiplayer for a little bit.
Quite possibly.
I do like the multiplayer.
Quite good for that. It was quite good for that. So
the reason I only thought 3 was meh was purely story based, not gameplay.
This is the thing. The first one, the story felt like pretty fresh and epic and stuff, and then it just sort of kind of went a little bit downhill. But
from what I can tell, the 4th one is about the people who made the Halos. That's the general theme.
Right.
Presumably wanting to destroy the world, blah blah blah. Even though the Flood are gone, although maybe they won't be. Who knows? Rather than invent new enemies, they'll just recycle old ones. That's the way. That's the way. Someone asked me on Windows the other day when I was playing Age of Empires whether Assassin's Creed 3 is going to have multiplayer. as opposed to the co-op they've already kind of hinted at. And I think they've accidentally confirmed it will have the multiplayer mode returning because one of the pre-order bonuses is a character, as in, you know how...
like an unlockable character for playing with the multiplayer with.
Yeah, I can't remember what it is, but yeah, so I would assume it's going to have a version of it. I kind of hope they've gone back in the Brotherhood direction rather than Revelations. I have something horrible in my throat. Revelations. There we go. Spat out now. Do you have anything left on your list?
The only things I have left in are the community corner, a couple of emails that we've got in.
Community corner. It's just tied up in the corner.
Well,
theater.
We had Noodles in there for a little bit, but here's the actual email that we've. Well, I'll let him, say it to you.
Okay.
Right. Feeling pressured right now. Got to think of something. Yogadventures is taken, and I'm betting you've already talked about EA's stocks crashing. Well, we haven't actually. That's not something I really picked up on, and to be honest, don't really care. That serves them right.
Yeah, I'm of the same opinion.
How about the PC port of Dark Souls being locked in at 30 frames per second and having no modding support after all the cries from the community?
I did have something on my list about that, although not those two things. I had another thing to add to the list of poo. And it's that it's going to be a Windows Live game. So people have been petitioning because they don't want Windows Live integrated into it. 100k signatures in a couple of hours, and it's well over 20k now. I didn't know about the capping of FPS. That just screams very lazy quick port.
Yes, it does.
Because they haven't bothered optimizing and upscaling. No surprise, really, because Dark Souls was just a rushed mess. We'll go back.
Let's not dwell on that. He says plus no HD textures in games for Windows Live. Is that good enough? Well, must think of more. How about the guy who made Fez being an absolute dick to Japan for not being original enough, yet almost stealing concepts such as rotating the world off a Flash game that came out several years before his did? Now, I heard about Fez, and it was supposed to be like this, the next best thing. And it's been released, and I looked at it, and it doesn't seem all that appealing to me.
I saw the title, but I haven't seen anything about it.
Apparently, some of the puzzles are supposed to be ridiculously difficult.
That's kind of like the Dark Souls problem mentality there again. Why would you want it to be ridiculously hard?
Fuck knows.
So you could pretend that you've done really well when all you really did was type in www.gamefaqs.com.
Pretty much, yeah. And then he's decided to link me to a video which is, I think it's the trailer for... Yeah, it is the trailer for Dragon Ball Z.
Connect. Oh dear. I haven't actually seen the trailer. Does it show people like punching their little brothers? And
I'm watching it right now, and it's just like the various beams of light and stuff you see. And here's a guy punching away. Yep, you punch Frieza. Most weirdly named guy ever. And then, well,
that was because his family were named after puns. Cooler, King Cole.
Yes, yeah. It's all like showing you how to do like the motion dodges and things like that.
I like that you say he's got a weird named family when the Bulma family are named after types of underwear.
They've all got weird names. It's all just strange.
Vegeta's daughter in Dragon Ball GT was called Bra.
Yep.
That's not right. Well, nothing was right with GT, really.
No. It looks very, very strange. I mean, I can see why they would do this, why they would make it so that you were playing with Kinect. But at the same time, that sort of game just lends itself to playing with a controller or a stick.
Yeah, unless they go with the really cinematic way that Tenkaichi was, in which case it probably does suit Kinect better because you don't really need to press much.
It does look like that. It does actually look like they've gone that direction. So,
like, what if you're in a power struggle with someone? How do you imply that you want to push stronger?
You just have to keep punching or something.
You strain your legs and make sounds.
As soon as the Kinect senses that a turd has dropped between your legs from that excessive strain, then it knows that you've pushed enough.
Achievement unlocked. Shit a brick. Apparently the Kinect version of Skyrim is coming soon as well, or Kinect support for Skyrim, so you can shout Fus Roda.
You can do that anyway.
You can do it anyway. You don't need the feedback because you can just press Z as you're saying it.
Noodle, the comment to that was that Noodle saying you'll probably have a lot of people requesting fights for that. So you might actually get people saying, I want you to get DBZ Connect.
But it's not like I'd record me playing it. I'd record the screen, but you wouldn't see me making an arse of myself. Well, I say that, but actually I think Kinect has a function where you can show picture-in-picture, but I don't really know much about it. I've not had any time with it.
So the only other email that we've had, which, we have actually had another email in from somebody else. It's from Chloe Dixon. So this is a new fan, I guess, is the word to use.
No, we're not that arrogant. We'll just say person who is mildly interested.
Has a brief look at the videos that you put up, maybe. They're saying that I've read your thread on recording videos. It was very useful, and they're now considering buying Hopage. I would recommend it. I've got my own one, and I haven't used it as much as I probably wanted to. But then we've been back to playing PC games again. But
yeah, but you have got footage. It's just now a case of rendering.
I've got too many little projects on the go at the moment. That's my problem. It seems to happen. But summer slump is coming, so I'll have plenty of time to get through things. Yeah. So very thanks for that information. I also like the podcast. I don't have a clue about most of the games you talk about. But
Neither do we.
This is actually directed at you, by the way. I forgot to mention that. Cause, saying, but you and Blighty make it fun to listen to. My favourite games are Assassin's Creed series and Skyrim. I really enjoyed your commentaries on Revelations. Are you sure you can't make any more of them?
But I don't like the things that they changed. I'm afraid I can't. I get too annoyed at it. That's and it's not even the things that they changed. I just get annoyed at the people that play it. More so. Assassin's
Creed 3 will be out before the end of the year is over. We'll videos of that up.
We'll be playing that for sure, and we'll be trying the multiplayer, because I'm curious, like we were just saying earlier, will they make it like Revelations, or will they go back or maybe it'll be a totally different type? Who knows?
They might save it. They might have, improve on all the things that have flopped. I mean, at least they've done something different and didn't just regurgitate the same thing. Sure. I mean, okay, they did a little bit, but they've changed a few things about, and whether that works or not, at least they had the balls to do something different. Unlike, I don't know, let's go with the Modern Warfare franchise.
I knew it.
It made me realize how wrong I went at the beginning. They watched some of my videos.
Oh, your Skyrim ones, yeah.
Skyrim videos. It made me realize how wrong I went at the beginning of the game when I was told to split up. But apart from that, they're fun to watch. Well,
really, there's nothing wrong with doing what you want in the game. It's kind of the point.
That's it, yeah. Allowing you a little bit of freedom. Not too much.
Although you did say it's kind of better to try and find quests, because then it makes dungeons more interesting if they had a purpose.
Yeah, my problem was that I was trying to keep up with uploading videos and so on at the time. So I was trying to do dungeons that weren't quest related. But then what's happened is that when I've gone back and done another playthrough, I've realized that quests are actually taking me to those dungeons, and I've opened up more. There's more reason to go there, and there's a bigger story arc for it, or new rooms have unlocked that I couldn't get into before, and so on. Now, if I know my games correctly, you both have the PC version. This is Skyrim. Yes. Have you, or would you ever use the console commands for Skyrim?
I have used them because I maxed out a couple of skill trees I wasn't wasting points in. That I mentioned a few podcasts ago.
I haven't. And in response to the would you ever, I don't think I really would. I might if down the line I decide that I'm re-rolling another character as a different style, and I decided, like you say, maybe enchanting or blacksmithing or something that I didn't want to crank out, I might consider. What
if you got a mod that required you to make things? Would you just use a console command to summon a version of it rather than having to go
sure. If I wanted to test, if it was something like to test something in a mod, you did those materials. Yeah, I would.
I did that with the lightsabers. That's also what I did. I just summoned a few using the console.
So, do you think it defeats the point of the challenge?
I don't like the way they did the leveling in Skyrim, so that's why. Because you have a finite number of points, I don't want to waste points in blacksmithing, but at the same time, I don't want to lock myself out of the best armor.
Yeah. It's one of those double-edged swords, really, isn't it? It's making you make that choice that you don't really want to make.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
I much preferred it in Morrowind.
Morrowind, where it was just doing things, just happened to skill things up.
Yeah.
The problem with that is that because of the way that I naturally went around the place, I always got acrobatics and athletics cranked because I ran and jumped around the place all the time.
Well, that was one of the tricks to get early levels in Morrowind. You just jumped everywhere.
Yep, jump. So thanks very much for your time, and keep up the great videos and podcasts.
Thank you very much.
So, yep, thank you. Another
more people should take the time that they did.
This is the thing. While we don't get that many emails, the ones that do come in are well constructed, usually quite long, and usually have something relevant to talk about.
I really wish you hadn't said that bit, because now it's going to make what I'm about to link into bad.
Right.
We got another review on iTunes, and it's by that person we almost killed. And I'm guessing deliberately to annoy me, it's full of no punctuation and many spelling errors.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me, we need to also show a picture of my new phone case I got with my new phone, which is a quote from that person.
You essentially made a Brain Go Hurty branded iPhone case, didn't you? One of the doodles that I did.
Yes, a doodle you did, and a paraphrased quote by the person we almost killed, that listening to all our podcasts in a row don't make you want to kill yourself. Which is true, apparently, because he did it.
Yeah, and he's not dead yet.
Not yet, anyway.
Yeah, we've still got more podcasts to make.
True, there's time. Yeah, imagine if someone listened to this after we've made like 100, and they thought, okay, I can listen to 100 in a row. Oh.
Sitting in the corner crying.
Yeah, I've only got a couple of things left on my list here. I think yours now empty.
Yep, that's me dry.
Dry like a disgusting metaphor.
Yep.
Well, no, actually, you can join in on this. Did you watch the Resident Evil 6 trailer, the new long one?
There was a new one?
The one I know you watched it, because I remember you watching it.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, I watched it.
Yeah. Did you? There was full of interesting information. Did you collect any of it?
No. I don't even remember watching it. I know this is really, really bad, but I don't actually remember watching it.
For your benefit and those listening, I made a few points as I watched it about what kind of things were going on. So it's the virus, and it's called the C virus, because that's very original.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
That girl that I thought was Sherry is Sherry. It seems like the woman villain might actually be Ada.
Yeah, I gathered that.
Although it doesn't specifically say it definitely looks like her. And as a result, there's kind of a
conflict. Yeah, there's a conflict with Chris and Leon. Yeah, I remember it now. Yay!
Yes, Chris wants to kill Ada, and Leon wants to arrest, by which he means sex, her. So it leads to them having a fight.
He totally wants to have sex at that woman.
That girl. Other things, the guy who was like doing superhuman hand-to-hand combat against zombies in the very first trailer is actually Wesker's son. So apparently,
that was where people were thinking it was Hunk at one point, wasn't it?
Yes, we thought it was Hunk as well. No, apparently it's Wesker's son. At some point, when he wasn't taking over the world and getting weird things injected in him, he had sex at a girl.
He totally had sex at that girl.
Also, that trailer put the release date a month ahead of what it originally was, so it's now out in October, the very start of October, in fact.
Shiny.
So yeah, it's coming even sooner. So there you go. And they stated that it's now got its 3 stories intertwined. So it's Leon's story, Chrissy's story, and also Wesker's son, who's called Jake. And each of them has a partner. So I think when the thing appeared on Xbox saying 6-player co-op, what it actually meant was you play as 6 people in total.
So it's 2-player co-op, 3 different ways.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. At least I assume that's what it meant, because I can't see a 6-player co-op mode working outside of something like Horde. But, you never know.
Maybe they'll just take those player characters and put them into Horde mode.
They confirmed that the Mercenaries mode is returning, and they actually misspelt it, so it said Mercenaries. It seems to be the end thing for the bears, just missing keys as they're typing.
They've been eating too much honey and fish, and their paws are too big to hit the keys.
Or they had a black eye because John West punched them.
Give me my tuna.
Give me my tuna. So yeah, that's the thing. I'm looking forward to it. I can't help it. I'm into my zombie games.
Me too. I am.
Well, in that case, I have a question for you. Not just zombie games, as far as books and TV shows go. Are you familiar with The Walking Dead? I don't mean do you personally know a zombie? I mean the series called The Walking Dead.
It's a TV series. Now,
it's a TV series based on a popular American comic.
We had tried to watch it at one point, but we missed the first episode and missed it when it was on demand or whatever. So I haven't actually seen the first one, so I've never been able to catch up, and I don't want to watch it without seeing the first one. So I'm not familiar with it per se.
I'm vaguely familiar with the American comic because I read a bit of it, but I'm not that into American comics. I don't like the art style they have. So I did quite like it, and I was hoping you'd actually seen it so I could ask if the TV show was any good. because there's an arcade game of it coming out, and it's made by Telltale Games, who kind of do point and clicks.
Yeah, they used to do back in the 90s and stuff, didn't they?
So I watched a developer's commentary of them playing through a little bit of the first episode that's out in 6 days, I think.
All right.
And it looks it's like Heavy Rain. It has sections where you're kind of in control walking around the scenery, but it doesn't go beyond kind of quick time events and interacting with things. And it looks quite interesting. It's made me more interested in it than I thought I would be, given that I'm not that familiar with the source material. Because the reason
zombies.
Yeah, but the reason The Walking Dead is so popular is it's less about the zombies and more about the human condition reacting to a zombie apocalypse, which is why it's so popular. It's about what it does to people rather than shoot lots of zombies.
This goes back to one of the old, the Night of the Living Dead films and stuff like that. There is the zombie element in there, but it was more about the survivors and
all Romero's early zombie films were all sort of taking the piss out of things happening at the time.
Yeah.
So I'll probably show you the walkthrough I watched then, because I'm interested. It's got a dynamic sort of conversation system, and characters remember things you say, so you might have to remember a lie you told later on.
I like that. That sounds good.
And it's got quite, I'm not that big a fan of shell shading as an engine, but I quite liked what they've done with it.
I quite like cell shading.
I like it to an extent. I like the way they did it in, say, the Naruto games.
What about Borderlands?
That was kind of, excuse the pun, but borderline.
God, take yourself out back and shoot yourself.
I would say I mean it, though. That was kind of borderline. I wasn't that keen on it, but I didn't hate it. Where I'm trying to think of a bad example. Oh, Darkness 2. I didn't like how that looked at all.
Oh, right, okay.
So the very last thing on my list we don't really need to spend much time on because it's another angry subject. It's the Starbreeze CEO who made that Syndicate reboot that was a first-person shooter and a pile of fake.
Yeah. I didn't even realize that had actually been released because it was just it was just fizzled.
It wasn't their fault. It certainly wasn't EA that were too busy marketing Old Republic. It was Game's fault. Did you know that? It was Game.
Really?
Yeah, it was their fault for going into administration that Syndicate didn't sell well.
Right, okay.
Yeah, apparently it was.
Yeah. That's right. Blame the retailer, not the people making the fucking game,
Not because they've made a bad game.
No.
No.
Isn't this like the discussion that, Bulletstorm didn't sell very well because of piracy, or Bulletstorm didn't sell very well because of... What was the other excuse?
World famine.
Yeah, probably. Monkeys. It was Monkeys' fault. Yeah. Monkeys did it.
It's about Cliffy B. It's an insult on monkeys. Do the wrap up. We're done. We're done here.
You're spent.
We are spent.
So, yeah, if you want to get in touch, the best way to do it is probably to send me an email to braingohurty@gmail.com. I'm the one that reads them, although I do generally forward them on to Flick for a wee skim. You can also join the Brain Go Hurty Steam group. You can check it out if you're on Flick's channel, for example. There's a Steam button at the top there.
Just send one of us an invite and we'll get you into the group.
Yeah. How would that work, actually? How would he send you an invite?
You can invite anyone you want. Just load Steam, go to add a friend. And then
you'll find me under Blighty, so that's quite an easy one. Anything else I should possibly mention?
braingohurty.podbean.com for the various pictures and links to videos we've mentioned.
That's true, and your YouTube account is FlickFFXI, and mine's
Yep.
Blight Warrior, and I think that's just about done. Possibly a bit of Diablo.
I think we are going to go do some Diablo.
Let's go.
Do you want to randomly invite Noodles and CR in? just for the hell of it?
For the lulz.
See what happens.
Hello again.
Hello again.
Hello again.
What now?
What do they want from me? Is CR there?
CR? Yeah, he said a rude word. What did you say? That sounded like Disneyland. Is that what you said?
This is degenerated really quickly.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting a couple of minutes before this kind of stuff happened.
I live in marshmallow.
You live in a
marshmallow.
Have you had a stroke?
Sausages.
That's what I'm cooking for dinner.
Ugh.
With chips. To be followed with porridge.
Why not Bangers and Mash?
You'll find out when the podcast goes up.